understanding your cat's true feelings about closed doors. You reach for the handle, pull the door shut behind you, and within seconds it begins. That distinctive sound of claws dragging across wood. The insistent meowing that seems to echo with pure indignation. Your cat is on the other side, and they are not happy about this arrangement. But here's something most cat owners never realize. The reason behind this behavior goes far deeper than simple stubbornness or attention-seeking. In fact, when you understand what's truly happening in your cat's brain at that exact moment, you'll never think about closing doors the same way again. I'm James Mitchell, Feline Relationship Coach. My goal is to help you build a deeper bond of love and trust with your cat, one secret at a time. This is Cat Senses Advice, and if you're serious about understanding the hidden language of your feline companion, you're in exactly the right place. Now, before we go any further, I want you to do something for yourself and your cat. Hit that subscribe button right now. This isn't about channel growth or vanity metrics. This is about giving yourself access to knowledge that will genuinely transform how you connect with your cat. When you understand their inner world, everything changes. So subscribe, tap that notification bell, and let's make sure you never miss insights that could make your cat's life dramatically better. Trust me, your cat will thank you for it. Why this door thing matters more than you think. Most people brush off their cat's door obsession as a quirky personality trait. Maybe you've laughed about it with friends or posted videos of your cat's dramatic door protests online. But what appears to be a simple behavioral quirk is actually a window into something profound: how your cat perceives their world, their relationship with you, and their most basic needs for security and control. The truth is, every time you close a door with your cat on the opposite side, you're triggering a cascade of emotions and instincts that have been hardwired into felines for thousands of generations. Understanding this isn't just interesting trivia. It's essential knowledge that affects your cat's daily stress levels, their trust in you, and the overall quality of their emotional life. By the end of this discussion, you're going to have a complete understanding of what drives this behavior, why it's so intense for some cats, and most importantly, what you can actually do about it without sacrificing your own need for privacy or boundaries. And if you're already finding value in this content, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps more cat lovers discover this information, and it lets me know you want more deep dive content like this on Cat Senses Advice. The mind of a territory guardian. Let's start by stepping into your cat's perspective. When you live with a cat, you probably think of your home as exactly that, your home. A place you own or rent with rooms designated for specific purposes. Your cat, however, sees something completely different. To them, your entire living space is a carefully mapped territory that they have claimed, marked, and memorized down to the smallest detail. Cats are hardwired as territorial animals. This isn't about being possessive or difficult. It's a survival mechanism that kept their ancestors alive in the wild. A cat needs to know their territory intimately because that knowledge equals safety. They need to understand where the escape routes are, where the high ground is, where food sources might appear, and where potential dangers could emerge from. Your cat has spent countless hours patrolling your home, walking the same paths repeatedly, checking corners, investigating sounds, and building a mental map of everything. Each doorway they pass through is a checkpoint. Each room they enter is a confirmed safe zone. The whole house, to them, is one interconnected territory where they're supposed to have unrestricted access. So what happens when you suddenly close a door? You've just created a barrier in what was supposed to be a seamless territory. You've blocked access to a section of their map. Even if they rarely go into that particular room, knowing they could access it whenever they wanted was part of their security. Now there's a gap, a missing piece, and that creates genuine psychological discomfort. Think about it from a human perspective. Imagine you've been living in your home for years, and one morning you wake up to find that someone has locked the kitchen without explanation. You might not even be hungry, but the mere fact that you can't go in there creates an unsettling feeling. For cats, that feeling is amplified by thousands of years of instinct, telling them that blocked territory equals potential danger. The personal connection factor. But territory is only part of the equation. There's another layer to this that many cat owners completely miss. The bond between you and your cat is stronger than you might realize, and that bond makes your absence feel personal. Cats have an unfair reputation for being aloof and independent. While it's true they don't show affection the same way dogs do, cats are deeply bonded creatures, especially with their chosen humans. They form genuine emotional attachments, and they're incredibly aware of your presence and location throughout the day. Your cat tracks your movements constantly. They listen for your footsteps. They recognize the sound of your voice from other rooms. They know your routines and can predict your behavior patterns with surprising accuracy. This isn't obsessive behavior. It's how bonded cats maintain connection with their family group. In the wild, cats that form social bonds stick together because separation increases vulnerability. Even though your cat lives in the safety of your home, those ancient instincts are still active. When you close a door between yourself and your cat, you're not just blocking access to a room, you're severing the connection they maintain with you. And that triggers something psychologists call separation distress. Now, separation distress in cats looks different than it does in dogs. Dogs might whine loudly for extended periods. Cats typically show more subtle signs: pacing back and forth, sitting pressed against the door, scratching at the frame, or waiting in tense silence. But make no mistake, the emotional experience is real, and it can be intense. The door isn't just hiding a space from them, it's hiding you. And in your cat's mind, not being able to monitor your safety and whereabouts goes against every instinct they have about how bonded groups should function.
The scent disruption crisis. Here's something that might surprise you. One of the biggest reasons cats react so strongly to closed doors has nothing to do with what they can see. It's about what they can smell, or more accurately, what they suddenly can't smell. Humans live primarily in a visual world. Cats live in a world dominated by scent. Their sense of smell is roughly 14 times stronger than ours, and they use it constantly to gather information about their environment. Every surface in your home carries scent markers that tell your cat, this is familiar, this is safe, this belongs to me. Cats mark their territory in ways most owners never notice. They have scent glands on their cheeks, paws, and tail base, and they deposit their unique chemical signature by rubbing against objects, scratching surfaces, and simply walking around. Over time, your entire home becomes saturated with their scent, creating an olfactory map that tells them they're in secure territory. When you close a door, you interrupt the flow of scent throughout your home. The room behind that door still smells like them, but the scent connection is weakened. Over time, if a room stays closed, their scent begins to fade from that space. To a cat, this is deeply unsettling. It feels like they're losing a piece of their claimed territory. This is why you'll often see cats rubbing their face intensely against door frames when a door is closed. They're not just being affectionate with the door. They're desperately trying to remark the boundary, to reinforce their claim on a space they can no longer fully access. Additionally, when you're on the other side of a closed door, your cat can't properly smell you. Cats use scent to monitor the emotional state of their humans. They can detect subtle changes in your body chemistry that indicate stress, illness, or other changes. A closed door blocks that vital information stream, leaving them in the dark about your well-being. The forbidden zone psychology. Now, we need to talk about a powerful psychological principle that affects both humans and cats, the forbidden fruit effect. Simply put, the moment something becomes off-limits, it automatically becomes more interesting and desirable. You've experienced this yourself. When someone tells you not to look at something, your curiosity spikes immediately. When a room is marked as restricted, you suddenly wonder what's inside, even if you never cared before. Cats experience this same psychological pull, and it's incredibly strong. A door that's usually open doesn't attract much attention. But the moment that same door closes, it transforms into the most fascinating thing in your cat's world. Why? Because now there's mystery, uncertainty, and the irresistible pull of the unknown. This is pure instinct at work. In the wild, curiosity kept cats alive. Investigating unusual changes in their environment could lead to discovering new food sources, identifying potential dangers, or finding better shelter. Cats that ignored changes in their territory were cats that didn't survive. Your modern house cat still carries that drive to investigate anything that's suddenly different or inaccessible. Some cats handle this with dramatic flair, pawing frantically at the door and vocalizing as if a crisis is unfolding. Others take a more calculated approach, sitting calmly by the door in a patient standoff, waiting for their opportunity. And yes, some cats will pretend to lose interest, wandering away only to circle back moments later to try again. The intensity of their reaction often depends on their personality and past experiences. Cats who have learned that persistence pays off will be more dramatic. Cats who have been rewarded for quiet waiting will employ that strategy instead. But regardless of the approach, the underlying drive is the same. They must solve the mystery of the closed door. The Control Authority Challenge. Here's a truth that might sting a little bit. In your cat's mind, they should be the one deciding where they can and cannot go. When you close a door without their consent, you're not just creating a physical barrier, you're challenging their sense of control and autonomy. Cats are control-oriented creatures. This isn't about being demanding or spoiled. It's about how they manage stress and maintain their sense of security. In an uncertain world, being able to choose where to go and when to leave gives them a crucial sense of agency. Your cat expects certain freedoms. They expect to be able to leave a room whenever they want. They expect to be able to enter spaces that they've marked as part of their territory. They expect to have options and choices in their daily movement patterns. A closed door removes all of that, placing the power entirely in your hands. From their perspective, this is genuinely unsettling. Imagine if someone else suddenly had the power to lock you into or out of rooms in your own home at random times. Even if you trusted that person completely, the loss of control would create anxiety and frustration. Your cat experiences something similar when faced with a closed door. This is why some cats become so determined to learn how to open doors themselves. It's not just about getting to the other side. It's about reclaiming their authority over their own movement and access. For these cats, successfully opening a door is a victory that reinforces their sense of control over their environment. The silent protector instinct. There's one more motivation we need to explore, and it's perhaps the most touching. Many cats genuinely see themselves as your protectors, and a closed door prevents them from fulfilling that role. This might seem odd given the size difference between humans and cats, but remember, your cat doesn't see themselves as small and helpless. In their mind, they're a capable predator with important responsibilities. And one of those responsibilities, for many bonded cats, is keeping watch over their humans. You might have noticed that your cat tends to follow you from room to room. They position themselves where they can maintain visual contact with you. They pay attention when you make unusual sounds or movements. This isn't just curiosity or clinginess. It's protective monitoring. When you close a door, you break that watchful connection. Your cat can no longer see you to confirm you're safe. They can't hear you clearly. They can't respond if something seems wrong. From their perspective, you voluntarily put yourself in a situation where they can't help if you need them. This protective instinct is why some cats become particularly agitated when you close the bathroom door. In the wild, animals are vulnerable when they're relieving themselves or grooming. Your cat knows this instinctively, and when you shut yourself in the bathroom, their protective instincts go into high alert.
They may pace, vocalize, or scratch at the door not because they want to come in, but because they need to confirm you're okay. This also explains a common behavior that confuses many cat owners. You finally open the door, expecting your cat to rush inside to explore whatever they were so desperate to access. Instead, they simply glance around, rub against your legs, and then calmly walk away. Their goal was never to get into the room. It was to re-establish contact with you and confirm that you're safe. Let me tell you about a cat named Oliver. He belonged to one of my coaching clients, and Oliver had an interesting relationship with closed doors. Whenever his owner closed the bedroom door to take a work call, Oliver would immediately plant himself outside, tail twitching with agitation. He'd meow periodically, not constantly, but just enough to make his presence known. The interesting part was what happened when the door opened. Oliver wouldn't enter the room. He'd simply make eye contact with his owner, do a slow blink, and then walk away to resume his nap. His entire mission was confirming visual contact, not accessing the space. Once he knew his human was fine, his anxiety resolved completely. This behavior pattern reveals something beautiful about the cat-human bond. Despite their reputation for independence, many cats are deeply invested in the well-being of their humans and become genuinely distressed when they can't monitor our safety.
Breaking down the 5 core motivations. Now that we understand the emotional landscape, let's organize this into 5 specific motivations that drive the closed-door obsession. Understanding these distinct categories will help you identify which factors are most relevant to your particular cat. First, the territory completion drive. This is the most fundamental motivation. Your cat needs to feel that their mapped territory remains complete and accessible. Closing a door creates a psychological gap in their mental map, even if they never actually spend time in that room. The issue isn't necessarily about being in that space. It's about knowing they could be if they chose to. You'll recognize this motivation when your cat insists on entering a room only to leave moments later. They weren't interested in staying. They needed to confirm that their access remained intact and their territory was still whole. Second, the guardian's watch. Some cats aren't focused on the space at all. They're focused on you. These are the protector cats who become restless when separated from their humans. They need to maintain their watchful connection to feel secure in their role. This motivation reveals itself in cats who seem particularly anxious when you're behind a closed door. They may pace, listen intently to sounds from inside, or vocalize in a worried tone. When you open the door, they often just check on you and then relax. Third, the discovery instinct. This is pure feline FOMO, fear of missing out. Cats are endlessly curious about what their humans are doing, and a closed door suggests something interesting is happening without them. Maybe you're opening a package. Maybe there's food involved. Maybe there's another creature in there. The uncertainty drives them crazy. This motivation shows up in cats who scratch persistently at the door, try to peek under gaps, and rush inside the moment it opens, immediately beginning to investigate. Fourth, the autonomy assertion. This is about control and choice. These cats are asserting that they, not you, should determine their access to spaces. They're not necessarily interested in what's behind the door. They're interested in maintaining their self-governance. You'll see this in cats who become particularly determined to open doors themselves, learn to manipulate handles, or vocalize demandingly until the door opens. For them, the act of the door opening matters more than what's inside. Fifth, the mystery compulsion. This is the forbidden fruit effect in its purest form. If something is off limits, it becomes irresistibly appealing. Even cats who normally ignore a particular room will become obsessed with it the moment you shut them out. This motivation can appear in any cat, but is especially strong in highly curious individuals who are natural investigators. They simply cannot tolerate an unsolved mystery in their environment. The fascinating thing is that most cats are responding to multiple motivations simultaneously. Your cat might be concerned about their territory integrity while also feeling protective of you while also experiencing intense curiosity about what you're doing. When several of these motivations stack together, the resulting behavior can be quite intense. If you're finding this information valuable, take a moment right now to share this content with another cat owner.
The insights we're covering could genuinely improve their relationship with their cat. Use the share button and send it to someone who needs to understand their feline companion better. And don't forget to drop a comment below telling me which motivation sounds most like your cat. I read every single comment and love hearing about your experiences. Practical solutions that actually work. Understanding the psychology is crucial, but now let's talk about solutions. You deserve privacy and boundaries in your own home. The goal isn't to never close doors. The goal is to close them in ways that minimize stress for your cat while maintaining what you need. Strategy 1. Offer visual alternatives. Often, your cat doesn't actually need to be in the same room with you. They just need to know you're there and accessible. Consider using a pet gate instead of a closed door, or keep the door cracked open with a doorstop. Even a small gap that allows visual or scent connection can be enough to satisfy their need for contact. Strategy 2. Design a compelling alternative zone. If you need to fully close the door, redirect your cat's attention to a space that's entirely theirs. This should be more than just a bed in a corner. Create a rich environment with vertical spaces, hiding spots, interesting toys, and ideally a window view. The more enriching this alternative zone is, the less fixated they'll be on the closed door. Make this space special. Rotate toys regularly to maintain novelty. Consider adding a puzzle feeder or treat dispensing toy that only appears when you need to close doors. You're creating a positive association. Closed door equals interesting rewards over here. Strategy 3. Engage before you separate. Right before you need to close the door, spend 5 or 10 minutes actively playing with your cat. Use a wand toy to trigger their hunting instincts. Let them chase, pounce, and capture. Follow this with a small food reward. A cat who is mentally and physically satisfied is far less likely to obsess over your absence. You're essentially filling their cup before the separation happens. Strategy 4. Maintain scent continuity. Remember how important scent is to your cat's sense of security? You can work with this by taking a soft cloth and rubbing it gently on your cat's cheeks, where their scent glands are located. Then rub that cloth along the base of the door frame on both sides. This maintains the scent connection even when the door is closed, helping your cat feel that their territory remains marked and complete. Strategy 6. Establish door routines. Cats thrive on predictability. Random door closings create confusion and anxiety. But if closed doors happen at consistent times as part of a routine, your cat can learn to expect and accept them. For example, maybe every evening you close your home office door for 1 hour of focused work. Always end this routine with a positive reunion. Open the door, greet your cat warmly, offer a treat or brief play session. Over time, they'll learn that closed door time is temporary and always ends with good things. Strategy 6. Reward calm behavior only. This is critical. If you open the door every time your cat scratches or meows loudly, you're teaching them that protest gets results. Instead, wait for a moment of quiet before opening the door. It might take patience initially, but cats are quick learners. They'll soon understand that calm waiting is what opens doors, not dramatic complaints. Strategy 7. Safety-based closures need special handling. Sometimes doors must close for legitimate safety reasons. You're cooking with hot oil, you're moving heavy furniture, you're having repair work done. In these situations, don't just shut the door without context. Cats may not understand human words, but they respond to tone and routine. Speak to them calmly, guide them to their safe space, and provide something positive to focus on before closing the door. Your calm energy helps reduce their stress response. The Trust Foundation, here's what all of these strategies have in common. They're building trust. When you implement these approaches consistently, you're teaching your cat that closed doors aren't threatening. You're showing them that separation is temporary, that their territory remains secure, and that you always come back. Trust is the invisible foundation of every strong cat-human relationship. It's built through hundreds of small interactions where you prove yourself reliable, where you respond to their needs, and where you demonstrate that even when things change, they remain safe. A cat who deeply trusts you can relax when you close a door because they know from experience that you'll return. They know their territory is still theirs. They know you're not abandoning them. That level of trust transforms the entire dynamic. And when you achieve that, something beautiful happens. You close a door, and instead of immediate protest, you might glance back to see your cat settling into their favorite spot, perhaps casting you a brief look before closing their eyes. No drama, no anxiety, just peaceful acceptance. That's not because they've stopped loving you or caring about your activities. It's because they feel secure enough to let you have your space for a while. In the feline world, that's one of the highest expressions of trust. Final thoughts. Every behavior your cat displays is communication. The scratching at the door, the insistent meowing, the patient waiting, all of it is your cat telling you exactly how they feel about what's happening in their world. As their human, your job isn't to ignore these messages or dismiss them as annoyances. Your job is to listen, understand, and respond in ways that honor both your needs and theirs. Closing a door seems like such a simple, mundane action, but to your cat, it's a moment loaded with meaning. It can either reinforce your bond or create tiny fractures in their sense of security. Which one it becomes is entirely in your hands. The techniques we've discussed give you the tools to close doors without damage, to maintain your privacy without sacrificing your cat's peace of mind. When you implement these strategies with consistency and patience, you're not just solving a behavioral problem. You're deepening the trust and connection you share with your feline companion. Remember, the door itself is just wood, metal, and hinges. But the way you handle it, the awareness you bring to it, and the consideration you show for your cat's emotional experience, that's what defines the relationship. Before we wrap up, I want to hear from you. Leave a comment below telling me about your cat's relationship with closed doors. Are they the dramatic protester, the patient waiter, or the stealth door opener? Share your stories because they help build this community of cat lovers who are committed to truly understanding their feline friends. And if this content has helped you see your cat's behavior in a new light, hit that like button and subscribe to Cat Senses Advice. Every week we dive deep into feline psychology, behavior, and relationship building. This is where you learn to speak your cat's language and create the kind of bond that makes both of your lives richer. I'm James Mitchell, and thank you for investing this time in understanding your cat at a deeper level. The fact that you watched this far tells me you're the kind of cat owner who truly cares, who wants to do right by their feline companion, and who's willing to learn and grow. Your cat is lucky to have you. Until next time, keep listening to what your cat is telling you. Every meow, every purr, every behavior is a conversation. You just have to pay attention.